Welcome to another episode of the Atlanta Realtors Association Rundown, the #1 podcast to the realtors in Georgia. I am your host, Helen Archer. If you have not yet subscribed to our podcast, please like and subscribe so you never miss our great interviews, content, and conversations with the best in the real estate industry. Today, I have the pleasure to be talking to the one realtor in Atlanta and actually all over the United States that does not need an introduction. And quoting Google, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably seen Glennda Baker's TikTok videos. With over 320,000 followers on Instagram and 872,000 followers on TikTok, she's arguably the most famous realtor on social media today. She's a speaker, podcaster, realtor, mom of two, abuela, grandma, and I am calling a future TV host, reality show star, and maybe an author, New York Times author. So welcome to our podcast, Glennda. It's
Helen.
An honor to have you.
Thank you, Helen. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Did I miss anything of any of those things that you are?
No, I mean, I've been abundantly blessed, that's for sure.
Yes. Well, we had a great interview back in August 2023 where you spoke about your story and great details about your beginnings. I listened to all of it, and I will say, you speak a lot in social media, so we are not going to go into all of those details, but we do want to make sure that our audience who's listening go back to that episode, and it's called Oh My Stars. It's Glennda Baker. You remember that?
I love it.
It was a great one. With Manny Racinos, that's right. And so we wanted to invite you back to talk about with us a little bit more in depth about working in luxury with high profile clients and celebrities. We want to know the how, the what, the when, the why of this amazing opportunity you had and completely changed your business. Because as I know from listening to you over the years, you didn't come from that Buckhead Betty group, right?
Thank goodness.
And so, it's funny because when I started in real estate, I remember my broker, Sean Wall, said, well, Helen, you don't fit that Buckhead Betty, profile. So you need to stand out and be you.
Yeah.
And, I resonate a lot with your story because we don't fit in. We stand out.
That's right.
And so sometimes it's weird because people are not really ready for our impact, right? And so we need to be okay with it, first of all, and then we just need to flow with the energy that comes out of us. But not everybody is our people, and not everybody's willing to receive us. So you have been able to represent TV stars, athletes, and many prominent figures moving in and out of Atlanta. We want to know the how, the what, and everything that you can share with us today for our audience, because like me, we're very interested in knowing how we, I've been in business 20 years. I'm very interested in your story. And there's a lot of agents out there who want to get into the business. They may have already the contacts in their database, but they just don't know how. And so tell us what led you to specialize in working with high profile or celebrity clients. How did you land at your first appointment or first prominent celebrity of high profile, or if you can disclose, and if you can't disclose, obviously, but I think you can, because you've shared a lot. So just walk us through your evolution.
So Helen, it has been an evolution. It wasn't something that, I just walked into. When I first started in real estate, I was like, I want to sell big fancy houses. And so I started farming more expensive neighborhoods, even though I lived in an apartment. And so I identified 3 neighborhoods. I read a book. It said, get a farm, create a farm. And a farm is where you pick a neighborhood and you do business in that. You get involved in the community. You mail to it. And, back in the olden days, it was direct mail. Right. Put a stamp on it. But what I did was I lived in an apartment around the corner. I got my little baby Victoria. Victoria was still in a stroller. And I would go every afternoon between 5 and 7 and stroll my baby through those neighborhoods. I had taken a picture of every single house in the neighborhood. Anytime that a house came on the market, I would go preview it. And I just made it my business to know everything about those 3 neighborhoods.
Was that one of the ones in Alpharetta that you mentioned?
It was not in Alpharetta. They were actually in Duluth.
Okay.
So it was River Mansions, Thornhill, and Prestwick.
Oh, yes, I know that.
And
yes.
so I loved those 3 neighborhoods, and I started farming those neighborhoods. Then I added Riverview, which was right there as well. And I went to see a listing that was for sale. I'll never forget it. Bill Kramer with Metro Brokers had it listed. If you are new to real estate, Bill Kramer was a legend, the #1 agent here at the Atlanta Board of Realtors for many, many years. And he had a listing. It came on the market. I went and previewed it. Back in the olden days, it actually gave the seller's name and their phone number. You called the seller directly. So I called the seller. I'm like, hello, my name is Glennda Baker. I'm with Buckhead Brokers. That's where I started. And I want to preview your house and 123 Banana Street. And I said, I won't be with a client. You're welcome to stay home. You don't need to leave. I just want to come through. You know, I sell a lot of houses in the area. I went and previewed that house. When that listing expired, that seller remembered me. And so they listed their house with me. Now, in 1993, that was $949,000. Now, 1993.
So that's like
to $3 million today.
Right.
And so I listed that house, and that kind of started my love affair with luxury. And then always, you know, I felt like, oh, I want to, you know, I love celebrities. Who doesn't? You know, you see them around town. And back in the olden days, like Ted Turner was the celebrity, you know.
Yes.
And, you know, I would see people around town, and I just tried to put myself in a position to meet those people. And probably, you know, one thing that really catapulted my business into that like celebrity circle was Robin Meade.
Right. I remember when you listed her house.
And when I met with her husband, Tim, and he vetted me, and then I went back to meet with her, I was so moved by the trust that they had in me. And I wanted to do such a great job for them. And Robin referred me anytime she had the opportunity to talk about real estate. She said, my great real estate agent, Glennda, my real estate agent, Glennda.
She's amazing.
And she just cheered for me. And it was like that momentum, that confidence from her really like breathed life into my business.
But also you were doing such a great job that she put that trust in you. So it takes both sides. It's not only their trust, but it's also how good you are in serving these clients, that you go that beyond to the point that they're very confident in referring their friends.
Right. But you have to know the details. Like I think that what they were so impressed with was just like in 1992 when I started my business, and in 1993 when I impressed that seller of that $950,000 house. I had taken a picture of every house in the neighborhood. I had the tax records. You had this thing called a camera that had film in it, and you would take a picture. I literally drove by every single house, took a picture, and put picture 1, 123 Banana Street. Picture 2, 125 Banana Street. Picture 3, 127 Banana Street. I would take it to Wolf Camera. I would get it developed. I would glue it onto a sheet of paper and have the tax records. So when anytime that anybody called me and said, hey, I live at 3711 River Mansions Drive, I was like, oh, my Stars and Stripes, you live in the White House with the columns, built by Jim Garcia. Don't you have like a 36-foot ficus tree? You have this beautiful Spanish marble in your foyer. Like, they were like, how do you know that? Oh, I'm like, oh, I know every house in your neighborhood. And so I have used that method.
It's in the details.
It's in the details, no matter if it was a $500,000 house or a $5 million house. And with Tim and Robin, I literally went through every single person in that entire neighborhood, every person on that street. How old were they? What did they do? How did they finance it?
That's where you live now.
Yeah, exactly. What age were they when they bought? Because I wanted to be able to reverse engineer into the buyer avatar for their house. Okay. And the thing about it was when I would show it, and Robin always laughs and she calls it real estate according to Glennda, because it was 16,011 square feet. not 16,000 square feet. It was 151 light bulbs, not 150 light bulbs. The dome in the family room was, do you understand that the reason there's a dome in this family room is because in Neverland, in Michael Jackson's house, when you play the grand piano under this dome, it bellows evenly throughout the house. It was those kinds of details and those kinds of stories that you could actually create the lifestyle that they would see when they were walking through. And
did you have to be present at every showing?
I didn't have to. I wanted to be.
Right.
I wanted to be there because I wanted the buyer to like fall in love with the house.
Who knows the house better than the sellers? You.
That's right, exactly. And what I had done was I had asked Robin, walk me through, tell me every detail, tell me everything about it, and literally took copious notes and knew every single thing about that house. So when Cardi B and Offset walked in the door, I had his music playing in the house. I had his video.
You created.
Yeah, I had his video playing in the media room. So what was his favorite card game? I had that on the card table. And I think that that's where agents just, they don't understand the details matter for the person that you're meeting with. So for me, I am an expressive analytical. That only 9% of the U.S. population has that combination.
I was going to say, what was your disc? Because you're definitely a high D, but you do have an impressive high C in you.
Well, make no mistake, in times of conflict, I am a D, a big D.
Okay.
So that, do not be concerned. But I am an expressive analytical. And so I love beautiful, but I love beautiful details.
Okay.
And so it's not what I am that's important. If I'm showing you a house and I'm an expressive and I love the marketing and I want to talk about the beautiful things and you're an analytical, I've already lost you.
That's right.
And so you need to understand, what is the person that you're talking to?
Who's your audience?
Who's your audience? What information are they going to receive? Are they going to want? What's going to turn them on? And then when you're dealing with high net worth individuals, high profile individuals, they are not just talking to you about real estate. Like, I have one client, I flew out to LA because he wasn't going to execute the documents, the mail away package, without me being there. It didn't matter that there was an attorney I had recommended. He said, I want you to fly out here. I want you to be here. I'm going to walk through it only with you here. So I flew out to LA and, got to go to the Laker game afterward, and was with him and his family. And then, I sell my client a penthouse, and he calls me or texts me at 1:10 a.m. And he's like, hey, how do I get in? Like, he didn't even know where the key fob was or the keys to the unit were. And I'm like, what car are you in? And he's like, I'm in the BMW. And I'm like, okay, lift the console. I put the keys and the key fob right there. Well, what are my parking spaces? Spaces number 1 and 2. Drive up the ramp. They're straight ahead.
At 1 a.m.
At 1:10 a.m. And he sends me back a message and he goes, were you awake? And I'm like, yes, just be thankful that I have nocturnal disturbances all night long. And he goes, yeah, thank goodness.
Yes.
So, but they love that. They love that no matter what they ask me, if I don't know the answer, I will hunt the answer down like a hound dog.
It's the experience.
Yeah.
It's the whole experience.
Yeah, head to toe, top to bottom, front to back. And they have that expectation. And they also have an expectation of discretion. And I've seen more real estate agents. Recently, there was a couple of real estate agents that sold a big house here in Atlanta. And it's all over their social media. I mean, everywhere. It's in every publication. It's all over their social media. And the people actually never moved into the house. They ended up putting it back on the market and selling it because so many people found out where they lived.
So leading to that, what measures do you take to protect client confidentiality throughout the buying or selling process?
We use an alias for everybody. We do not put any information in any database. We don't, in our own database, every single person is under an alias. And a lot of agents don't realize that if you're using your company database or you're using a database, a third-party database, if you read the terms of condition, and you don't even have to read those terms of conditions or terms of service, if you literally just print them out into a PDF, upload them into ChatGPT, and tell me what are the pros and cons and what happens to the data that I put into this service, it will tell you, most of them, they now own that information. So if you put in Donald Trump's information into, XYZ CRM, XYZ CRM actually owns that data and can do with it whatever they want. So that's why I just caution all real estate agents, anytime anytime that you're dealing with anybody's information, that data is priceless. What's the dog's name? What's the kid's name? What's grandma's name? When's their birthday? What's their favorite color? What's their favorite band? Like those opportunities, that information you need to keep yourself, because it will create opportunities for you to differentiate yourself from other real estate agents, other people, and also surprise and delight your clients.
Oh my gosh. I have so many questions that just came to mind, but really quick, how do you manage media attention or paparazzi? Have you ever had, paparazzi or something during showings or transactions?
We have. And I think that was probably when I really won a client over. We were looking at a house, a townhouse, and we had to walk down a street to get to the front entrance where the lockbox was, and someone recognized him and approached him, and I threw myself in front of him. And it startled him so much that this man approached him, just got very close in his space, that he had something in his hand, he dropped it, and I threw myself in front of him, and I'm like, "Excuse me, sir," And by that time, his bodyguard and everybody was around. And so we got inside, and he looked at me and he goes, "What are you going to do? Throw that little body in front of me to protect me?" And I'm like, "Trust me, nobody was touching you. Nobody." And that is the thing, is like
your instinct of mama bear came in.
I mean, and people say, like, why do these young entertainers or these young rappers, why would they work with you? Like, you're some 50-year-old woman real estate agent. There's so many cooler people that they could work with. Those people work with me because they trust me. They know that any advice I'm giving them is the same advice I would give my brother, my sister, my daughter, my son. I'm going to protect them and their interest. And that's with every single client.
Well, you're a straight shooter. I mean,
oh, yeah.
And I think these people,
100%.
That's what they're looking for. It's not somebody who's just an order taker. Yeah. They want, those who are your clients, they want the straight shooter. And that's why they hire you to be, because you are that.
Yeah, nobody's working with me for gentle kindness.
Right.
Like, that's not my deal.
Yeah. So how do you, I guess you have spoken a little bit about it, but how do you continue to build on from that client experience? I mean, first of all, do you need to be in a luxury company to be able to do this? Because a lot of us who have come from different companies think, okay, well, I need to be in a luxury company to be able to attract those type of clients. Is that true or not?
Oh, absolutely not.
Because you had your own brokerage.
Yeah, you are the experience. Like, they're not interfacing with your large company. They're not. They're interfacing with you. And I truly believe that the luxury experience starts with the agent to client relationship. Okay. Now, are you going to get, better marketing or more marketing if you're with one of these luxury companies? Arguably, yes. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it comes down to what the agent is willing to do. I remember I was on a listing appointment with the number one, like the real number one agent. And I was up against him. We are going head to head. We were actually not in Buckhead. Okay. We were in my 3 mile zone, not in his.
Okay.
And he had 2 days longer to prepare for the appointment than me. and sat down with the seller. The seller asked him the same exact questions that the seller asked me. And he said he was unprepared. He had longer to get ready than you did. And that he assumed he would get the business. And he had not been in any of the comparable properties that he presented. You'd been in every comparable property. You came prepared. You had a spreadsheet. You had every single picture. You had copious notes of every single listing because you had been in them. And he said, and you were ready at a moment's notice. He's like, it was not like it was something special for you to have to get ready for the appointment.
Let's go back to what you just said. You previewed all these properties. Now, I am of the old school ways of caravans every Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Because those caravans may not be open on open Sunday,
No.
you know. So for those agents who are listening, that's critical to meet the agents that are the listing agents, and also to preview these properties that may never be open.
Right. And you build a relationship with the agent as well. I was brand new. Like, literally, I had sold a $60,000 condo on 26th Street. And I would go every Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, I would go to Caravan. I would go to the fancy houses. And I met Debbie Sunshine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I met Holly Boyette. I was like, oh, this is so good. I met Rudy Harrell. And I mean, I walked in there like I belonged there.
That's right.
And I'm like, hello, my name is Glennda Baker. I introduced myself, and I'm like, I'm going to look for somebody to buy this house. I'm going to be selling this house. And every single house I went into, I'm like, I'm going to sell this house. I'm going to sell this house. And I was brand new. You don't have anything to do. Why in the world would you not be previewing every house, going on every caravan? That's your job. And it gives you this ability to speak intelligently about the houses, because if you haven't been in the houses, how can you speak intelligently? And also, you need to know it may not just be 123 Banana Street, because the seller that you're sitting down with, he doesn't know Bobby and Susie's address. He just know that Bobby and Susie lives on the corner. So if you say, oh, well, 123 Banana Street was for sale and it had, a purple dining room, he has no idea which house that is. But if you say, oh, Bobby and Susie's house at 123 Banana Street, then he's like, oh, yeah, I know Bobby and Susie's house. I've been in that house. And so that's the thing, is like, you need to have that intimate knowledge and be able to speak with confidence and clarity and certainty to build their confidence in you.
It's so true. And you said it best, is really going and meeting all these people and introducing yourself and just own it, fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah, and face it till you make it.
Face it till you make it. And I remember when I started, I had not sold a house. It probably took me like 7 months to sell my first house. And my broker back then, Sean Rawls, told me that I needed to preview every single building in Midtown, in Atlanta, and Buckhead. So the assignment was, for a month and a half, I was going to go every week to all the different buildings, and that's how I'm able now, 20 years later, to know, Viewpoint, built by Novair, so and so. And it's just incredible the amount of knowledge that gives you, and the confidence that also gives you, because you are what you know, really.
Yeah.
And so I suggest to all of us that are out there listening, getting into this business, already in the business, do the caravans and visit as many properties and compare and put it on social media, because now you can.
Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
you couldn't. Before it was like secret,
This is the thing, is like, for me, I am a predominant listing agent. But when I'm listing a house, I need to know from the buyer's perspective, what are they seeing out there? And so recently I had a client who's relocating here from Kentucky, and they found me online through ChatGPT, actually. Yeah, they were like, who is the best real estate agent in East Cobb? I'm looking for the best real estate agent. I'm looking for the agent with the most knowledge in East Cobb. And ChatGPT says Glennda Baker is the best agent in East Cobb. I'm like, oh, my stars and stripes. How did I get that? I love it. I don't know how it happened.
Well, it's grabbing all the media.
All the information.
Yes.
And the thing about it is that, and I'm like, okay, so this guy wants to work with me. So he's working with me and another agent on my team. I showed that man 31 houses in 3 days. I would challenge every house between $1.5 million and $3 million in Walton High School. And I would challenge any real estate agent, whether you've been in the business 3 years or 30, to know every house in Walton School District between $1.5 million and $3 million. I guarantee you there isn't any house that you could pull out that I don't know every single thing about it. Getting in the houses gives you this amazing knowledge. And if you write down, I know, there's this thing, it's called a pencil and a piece of paper. If you write it down, you're 56% more likely to remember what it was that you wrote rather than speaking it into your phone. So I write everything down on the listing sheet. I make copious notes about it, every single thing, every crack in the window, everything I loved, everything I hated, every pro and every con.
So you can give that to the listing agent, right?
No, I never give anything to the listing agent. No.
Okay.
Oh
tell
my
me
gosh.
more about that.
Helen, let me tell you. So,
but I want to call you for feedback, Glennda. Yeah. Tell me some feedback. Are you going to be just vanilla on the top? Like, oh,
no, I always give you helpful feedback.
Okay.
But I never discuss the price.
Okay.
And I rarely, unless you are in my inner circle, give you criticism.
Why is that?
Because it's not my job to make you better. You're the listing agent. Like, that's your job. Like you.
So you give constructive criticism, but not necessarily doing your job.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. Like, you need to know that. That's your job. Mm-hmm. This agent, I'll never forget this, sent me a feedback questionnaire with 15 questions.
Who has that?
And so I read through these questions. What did you think about the price? What did you think about the interior condition? What did you think about the exterior condition? What would you do to make this house different? How much do you think this house will sell for? And all these questions about how would you market this house? What did you think was the best feature of this house? Where did you think this home was lacking? And so I looked through all the questions. I got down to the bottom. It said additional comments. And I sent her, and in the additional comments, I said, if you need to ask me this many questions, you need to give me the referral fee or you need to give me the listing. You choose. And she lost her mind. She said, that feedback went directly to my seller. I can't believe that you put that in there. I'm like, let me explain something to you. I can't believe you had the audacity to ask me 15 questions. Like, if you need to ask me 15 questions, you're not doing your job, period.
And you're not being straight to the seller.
You are a professional. You don't need me to write the mail. That just tells me that you don't have the balls to tell him yourself.
Exactly.
And she was, her head spun around and snot flew out of her nose.
There's snot.
And every time I see her, I think about that feedback.
You're gonna have to tell me offline who this person is.
But this is the thing, is that a great real estate agent has already told the seller the house smells like dog. A great real estate agent has already told the seller you're overpriced. Like, if you need me to do your job for you, come on, Helen, there's one question. There's only one question that you need to ask for feedback. At what price is your client a buyer for my listing today? Period. That is the only question you need to ask. You want to ask me about
That's
1, 2, 3?
That's the gem right there. Say it again.
At what price is your client a buyer for my house today? Period. Bam. That is it. That is all you need to ask, because this is the thing, is that Helen, like, hey, Glennda, it's Helen. I'm calling you. You showed my listing at 123 Banana Street. What did your clients think about it? Do you give a shit what my clients think about it? No, you don't care what they think about it. You care what is it going to take for them to be a buyer.
What's it going to take? Price, condition.
Helen,
we need to remove the tree?
They didn't like that green dining room. It's paint. Like, you don't need to know that. Hey, Glennda, it's Helen. You showed my listing at 123 Banana Street. I'm not going to keep you long. I've only got one question. At what price is your client a buyer for my listing today? Helen, my people are never a buyer for your listing. It doesn't have a backyard. They have 5 kids. They have 3 dogs. They have 2 cats. They need a flat backyard. It's not going to work for my people because it has the primary on the main. They have 2 kids that are under 3 years old. They want to be upstairs. Like literally, like it gives you every answer that you need.
Yeah.
Period.
Now, what features or amenities are most commonly requested by high profile clients or celebrities?
Privacy, privacy, privacy. That's all they want. They can fix anything else. You can't fix privacy.
Okay.
And so typically when you, and this is the thing, is that that's one thing about the high net worth client, the high profile client. They know what they want. They like I have one client. He sent me this house, and he's like, "I want to see this house." And I'm like, "Okay, would you like to see any other houses?" He's like, "Okay." I sent him 5 or 6 more houses that meet the same kind of criteria. Yeah, I don't like any of those. I want to go see this one. He's like, "Okay, I like this one. I want to buy it." Like it's 2025. Like you can get a good idea if you're as long as the pictures are accurate. You can get a good idea if your people are going to buy it. It's not 1992. This is not your grandma's real estate. It's not like we're in a black and white picture in a book of the front. Mm-hmm. Like there's a walkthrough video. There's 48 different videos. There's 48 different photos. Like on these big houses, sometimes there's up to 200 photos. Like you're showing everything online. Like the buyer already knows.
What do you, I do see that most of your properties, you are not inside the videos.
No.
Tell me about that.
Because I'm not the star of the show. The house is.
Thank you.
I'm the star of the show when I'm giving advice. When I'm giving counsel, that's when my face is on the video. Sugar and spice real estate advice. When I'm giving you advice, I'm the star of the show. My listings, I don't want anybody coming to my listings because they're looking for me. I want them coming to my listings because they're looking for that house. What I'm trying to do is in all of my videos with houses, I want them to be able to see themselves. I want them to be able to see their life in that house. Every description, every video, every picture is designed for the end user, the buyer avatar that I have designed for that house. And I started reverse engineering into the buyer avatar in 2016. And so for every single house, I create who I think is the most likely buyer avatar. And I have 1, 2, and 3, and I order them. And of every house that I have sold since 2016, I'm running at about 87% accuracy of a number 1 pick.
Oh my goodness. But Glennda, I want to be in the video because it's part of my brand.
It's not part of your brand. And this is the thing is like, and I know that a lot of people will argue with me. And I've seen many videos go viral. Where would you play hide and seek at 123 Banana Street? This house has more bush than my mom in the 80s. Like, my seller doesn't want that. My seller wants to know that their house is the star of the show. And people know, and managing expectations, people know when they list with me that their house is what I'm trying to feature. Does my celebrity bring people to my social media? Absolutely. Yes. And does that help my clients? Yes. But there's a time and a place for everything. And right now, I want to make sure that my listing is the star, not me.
Yeah, there's a couple of agents in town, one specifically that it's a little bit borderline and almost sometimes cringy that this person does like almost gymnastics inside the listing. And to me, it's like, okay, well, I guess the client wants that. It's up to the client
Yeah.
that wants that. And I guess it's leave it to the client to want that. And maybe that attracts
Yeah,
more views. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But to me, it's all about the listing. It's all about the house. It's all about the seller.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do about me. And I agree. And I wanted you to say it because I've thought about it. I talked to my team about it. And even my coach says, oh, you need to be in the video. And I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't.
If you're seller, like, I totally get, like, Gen Z and millennial, like, I totally get it. And if that is what your seller, if that's why your seller was attracted to you, was that style of marketing, praise the Lord and pass the money. Far be it from me to be a hater. I'm not hating on it. And my videos are designed to attract my tribe. Mm-hmm. And the people that like the way that I do business. So I'm not throwing a stone at the way somebody else does business. I just don't want you doing a video at my listing talking about the bushes. Like,
do you allow agents to do social media
Absolutely.
at your listings?
Absolutely. I have one rule though, and that is you cannot speak disparagingly about anything in this listing. If your video is critical of my listing, you don't need to be shooting it. Period. Bottom line. I have one rule, and that's it. I don't care if you tag me. I don't care if you sell it because you took that video. Praise the Lord and pass the money. My deal is that if you video my listing, you better be saying nice things about it, because if I catch you saying anything derogatory about my listing, I will hunt you down like a hound dog.
Well, you heard it. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So, what are some of the current trends you're seeing amongst the luxury or celebrity buyers? Or has it?
They're buying. They're buying up everything, and it's amazing. It's wonderful.
So
they're not thinking twice. They don't care how much it is.
It's a different market. It's changing, and I'm seeing that the luxury market is actually right now doing really well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked the question if there's something specific that they're looking for besides privacy, that, it hasn't really changed.
No, I think that they're looking much more for the uniqueness. They're looking for something that doesn't look like everybody else's house. You're not going to see them buying a painted white brick craftsman farmhouse, in Milton. That's typically not their vibe. Mm-hmm. They're looking for very, very special properties. And I think that that's one thing that Atlanta has such a variety of. So whether you're looking for 4 acres in Buckhead with a contemporary on it, you can find it. Whether you're looking for, a house in Roswell that's on 2 acres, that the entire back is open and it's understated elegance, you can find it. Atlanta has the most subdued celebrity market, I think, in the country, because I had dinner the other night, and this man sat down next to me. We were chatting, and he owns a large privately held company, and the billionaire next door. You never ever know it. Where they live it's not, gated with,
Country Club of the South.
Yeah, that's not it. Mm. It's just
the billionaire next door.
The billionaire next door is living, at 123 Banana Street. And I see it every day here in Atlanta.
And it's interesting because I serve a lot of international clients.
Yes.
And that's probably one of my niches. And I noticed that never judge by the car they drive,
no,
by how they're dressed,
no,
and even their accent, because you just never know who these people are.
Never know.
And it's come to my attention. One of my clients called me randomly on one of my listings, and I could barely understand what she was saying because she had a thick accent. I have a thick accent, but and it was cool. And I just tried to put myself in their shoes, because that was me 30 years ago when I came to Atlanta. I could barely speak English, and this person called me 5 months later and wanted me to list their house because I treated her with kindness and respect, and I was super helpful. So I think one of the key components to this is also when they when you are at an open house or even a broker's open, because some buyers actually do come at those brokers open, it's like never judge.
No.
Never judge because they are not driving a very nice car.
No.
Right now I have a listing at 1.3 and their car is nothing fancy, and they came with an offer at cash at $1.3 million, and you will never guess these people have that. And just by the appearance. So you have to take that, because it's very different than LA, because I did sell in LA, and LA is all about flashy.
Oh, yeah.
And probably the flashiest are the poorest, in my opinion. Yeah. But in here is completely different. It's more toned down, and
100%.
The billionaire next door. I love that. Have you ever had to walk away from a client due to ethical concerns or media pressure?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah. I guess probably the best thing about where I am in my career right now is that I don't have to work with anybody that I don't want to. And in fact, just recently, I had a listing appointment, and I just knew that the story that I was being told was not accurate. And I just wasn't, I didn't have any interest in taking that business, because typically, if they're not being forthright and honest about the condition of the property, or how much they have in the property, or what their motivation is to sell the property, it's a very bumpy road.
How did you turn them down?
I told them I wasn't the right agent for them. And I always say, I'm sure that you're going to find somebody who's a good fit for you. It's just not me. Same exact way I turn them down on Tinder. Same exact thing. It's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but surely I'm somebody's shot of tequila.
Oh.
And that's the thing, is like, I'm not trying to take all of the business. Like, I don't need all of the business. My business is designed around me selling houses to my friends. Like in 4th grade, Lucas says, my mom doesn't work. She talks on the phone and sells houses to her friends. And that really is the foundation of my business. If I can't see myself having dinner with you, if I can't see myself enjoying time spent with you, coming to your housewarming party, coming to your baby shower, coming to your wedding, going to your funeral, like that, it's not the right fit for me.
Yeah, so you always do these parties that I've seen for your clients, and I admire that, because you welcome everybody and you'll have a good time
in my home,
in your house, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, if I don't want you in my house, I don't want to do business with you. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's another opportunity that agents miss, is having people in their home. And I learned that from Jennifer Barnes.
Oh, yeah, Jennifer Barnes, yes.
Yeah, so I've known Jennifer since she was Jennifer Sperlin. She'll always be Jennifer Sperlin to me.
I love her. Yes, I need to have her on this show, too. She's amazing.
An amazing real estate agent, but an even better person.
Yes.
And I worked with her for many years, and she always had people in her home, and how she made people feel in her home. And it was really her that I took a page from her book. And
now that you touch that, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but and we could talk about this, and I need to talk about it with you, because when you stopped drinking alcohol, and I just was very motivated to do that, because I was really trying to do the same. So I did 2 years ago. I finally quit alcohol, and it is so hard for me to do parties in my house. And I need to really retake that, because I used to do parties in my house with Santa and all these, the red carpet and all these things. But the party got so big, and my husband said, we need to take the party somewhere else, right? But it was really about now the alcohol component is like, how are you able to, because I know you've gone on back and forth on that. How do you manage that, to do these parties and being able to be truly who you are? Because, alcohol does kind of relax us, and it's liquid courage. And sometimes we're so uptight, we're high D's and high C's, and, the high I comes with that alcohol component of it. So how do you do that?
I was just not my best self, period. Like, I wasn't the best person. I wasn't the best wife. I wasn't the best mother. I wasn't the best real estate agent. Like, I just wasn't my best self, period. And I think that there was a lot of different components for me. And I was really just trying to figure out and face. I wanted to be more self-aware. I wanted to face the struggles head on that I was having. And everything was just so cloudy for me. I was just it was distorted. My view on everything was distorted. And so I've gone back and forth with, sobriety. And, some days are better than others. Some weeks, some months, some years are better than others.
I take it day by day.
Sometimes
hour by hour.
It is a day by day struggle. But hopefully it gets better every single day. And, I feel so much better not drinking.
Yes. Now, how do you, when you go to these events or you throw these events with your clients, how do you manage? You do, at least I do a mocktail, and I just stay with that mocktail all the night, because it's very hard.
Well, I typically don't drink when I'm working. Yes. And to me, these events are work.
Yes.
Drinking, having the events and drinking was not really ever the biggest issue for me. So that isn't a struggle. It's just, I feel like that, and there's so many people now that don't drink.
Yes, it's becoming quite the healthy habit.
Yeah.
But in our industry specifically, it is.
Yeah, but how many videos do you need to see about the drunk female realtor? Like how many of these parodies? And that's another thing about video. Like, there are these agents or brokerages that really push these parodies out about how real estate agents have commission breath, and how real estate agents don't care about their clients, and how real estate agents are drunk, and how real estate agents are terrible drivers. And I'm like, what is the purpose of making us look worse?
Yes.
But
I'm not giving anybody to talk about anymore, because it takes it. I was in that boat. I was going to conventions and it was a party. But I'm glad that I'm out of it, because I'm a better person, and I've taken responsibility for my kids and my marriage. So thank you for sharing that.
I remember when you were pregnant with your twins.
Yes.
I think that's when we met. You were huge. You lived in the cul-de-sac. I showed your house.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you showed my house?
In Vinings, Oakdale at Vinings.
Yes. Oh my God, Enclave at Vinings. That's right. Wow, you remember. That's amazing. So, because I know you're an expert in your market, specifically Marietta, you are the queen of Marietta. What are you seeing right now that we could share to our audience in regards to, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Is it a combination of both? Is it in certain price points? What can you tell us?
There's never been a more important time to understand your personal market, where you sell the most houses. Because it's not like, let me give you an example. Zillow says 30068, which is East Cobb, that is my 3-mile zone, that it is a balanced market. You can't say that a zip code that has homes that range between $500,000 and $8 million is a balanced market.
It's because
it's a price point, it's a condition. And in that area, it's a lot about lot characteristics, because the majority of people move to East Cobb because of the school system, the school district. They have kids. They want room for their kids to ride the bike, play soccer in the backyard, all that kind of stuff. So if you are an agent, there's never been a better time for you to control the narrative of your area. You can't use broad strokes. So if you're looking $500,000 to $800,000 in 30068 in Walton High School, it doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna sell.
Yes.
Period. Because you can't get into that market in that price range. But if you go to where I was, $1.5 million to $3 million, and this buyer was, I learned so much from that buyer that I showed those 31 houses to in 3 days, because this guy would check me against ChatGPT. He would. And he's like, well, what do you think about this house, Glennda? Well, what do you think about this house? And so literally every single house I had to debrief him on. And he said, how much do you think this house is going to sell for? So literally we've gone back to the houses that went under contract that I showed him those first 3 days. Sit down and grasp tightly. I want you to know I was within 2%, 2% of the actual sales price of every single house that's closed. Like, you want to do a case study for your clients that you know your market? Tell them what you think that 123 Banana Street is going to sell for when it's listed. And when it sells and it sells at that price, I am better than ChatGPT. It was wrong and I was right. And that you want to be able to show that. Where is your value as a real estate agent? So how is the market in Marietta? It depends on what price range you're looking in. It depends on what product you're looking at. It depends on the condition. It depends on the lot characteristics, because there's 2 houses in the exact same neighborhood at the exact same price. These houses are priced at the exact same price, same builder, same era, same upgrades basically. One of the houses is on a corner, smaller lot. One of the houses is on an expansive lot with a backyard. The one with the expansive lot with the backyard gets multiple offers and sells over the list price. The one on the corner sits on the market.
Because also they priced it differently. They should have priced it for the condition of that lot.
And they didn't. And that's the thing, is that the seller today says, oh, wait a minute, 123 Banana Street sold 3 months ago for X number of dollars. My house is worth that. It is not what 123 Banana Street sold for 3 months ago, number one. It is what is the price reduction of tomorrow.
Yes.
That's the first thing. But the second thing is you got to compare apples to apples. That has a brand new roof. Roofs here in Atlanta, we've had sellers, 5 sellers in 2025 that have had to replace the roof just to get it through underwriting.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are so many different factors that you can't Google, that you can't ChatGPT, that you can't pull out of your ear and hope that it's right. This is intimate knowledge of your marketplace. That is why I tell every single agent that I talk to, you need to preview 5 houses a day, 5 days a week. And I don't care if you've been in business 5 days, 5 years, or 50 years. You need to be able to speak with clarity and certainty so that the client you are representing has confidence and is comfortable to make an offer or take an offer.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Any last advice that you would give to anyone who's either seasoned or new agent trying to dive into the luxury real estate and attract high profile clients that we haven't discussed?
Stop talking. Listen. Ask more questions. Stop trying to be interesting to them and be interested in them. And that's not just with the high net worth, the high profile client. That's with everybody. Everybody's favorite subject is themselves. Everybody's favorite word is their own name. So understand who your client is. Understand who your audience is. Read the room. That's what I want agents. I'm so tired of hearing agents talk at. If you look at the most successful real estate agents, they have figured out how to listen and extrapolate what the client is saying to help them. And that's where, be of service. Listen. They'll tell you everything you ever wanted to know and a lot of things you didn't want to.
Yes, and the one that asked the questions is in control.
Absolutely.
The fairies showed me that and taught us that.
That's right.
Yes. Well, our time together has been wonderful, Glennda. Thank you so much. I'm honored for your time, for your presence, for your energy. You're an inspiration to a lot of women like me and those who are listening. And I hope our listeners have taken this opportunity to learn from the one and only Glennda Baker about how to represent celebrity and high profile clients. Thank you for your time. Again, if you have not yet subscribed to our podcast, please like and subscribe so you never miss our great interviews, content, and conversations with the best in the real estate industry. See you next time.